What's up, gems? I'm Jamelia, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. To my returning subscribers, you guys, welcome back. I'm back with part 2 of, let me make sure I get it right, the moment you realize your workplace was toxic. So again, the toxic workplace story times. If you didn't do it in part 1 and you feel comfortable enough, please comment down below the moment you realize your workplace was, hella toxic. Like, that environment was just crazy. Like, you needed to get out ASAP kind of thing. Comment down below, and if you're not comfortable, again, you can always DM me and we can talk about it through there. Let's get into the video and waste no more time. Here we go with the screen recording. Here we go.
At your workplace was toxic AF.
So I once did this runway show for one of the most famous American brands, and they lined up all the models against a wall to figure out what each of us was going to wear. And when they got to me, they just sort of stared at me in silence for a second before the head of PR says in front of my face and the entire room of people, "I have no idea what we're going to put this boy in. His body is disgusting." So obviously I start cracking up because I'm like, stop, they think I'm that skinny that I'm disgusting? And she goes, "It's not funny." And I was like,
Okay.
So yeah, that sucked. The worst part about it is that they put me in the ugliest jumpsuit I'd ever seen in my entire life. It was massive on me. Honestly, I was absolutely swimming in it, so.
Tell me the moment when you realized that your workplace
That's
was
disrespectful.
toxic.
Okay, so not too long ago, I found out that a trans girl previously worked at my job.
Okay.
And she was in the middle of her transition, but the manager had a lot of issues with her working there. But of course, he couldn't be transphobic directly to her because he could get sued. Anyways, one time a female manager asked him to go send a guy to go help her with some heavy boxes or something, and the trans girl just so happened to walk in the room as she was saying that. So of course the general manager, who is still the manager to this day by the way, thought it would be so funny to say in Spanish, "There goes your man." So she couldn't understand that they were making fun of her. Not only is it transphobic, but I take offense to it as well, because those are my brothers and sisters right there, a part of our community, and so I want to get the fuck out of there.
Tell me the moment when you
Period, my love. Like, those are her brothers and sisters. Those are our brothers and sisters. Like, how dare you be disrespectful? How dare you? There goes your man, right? And you're still the general manager to this day? Yuck.
realized that your workplace was toxic.
So I worked for a company that required me to travel.
Okay.
I would leave my home at 5 a.m. I wouldn't come back until 11 p.m., shower, eat, and then do it all over again. Sometimes I would work 9 days straight without a break. And mind you, this company valued family outside of work. That if you need anything, then you could come to them. Well, I got a text saying that my stepbrother passed away. He said, "Hey, I gotta go. I'll come back and I'll pick up where I left off. I should only be gone just for today, and then I'll figure out when the funeral and everything is later." They're like, "No, you can't leave. You can't leave right now." And at my work in the lobby, they have the news playing. My stepbrother was on the news, and I said, "Do you believe me now?" They're like, "Well, you can't leave right now." And I said, "Well, I need to, and it's an emergency." I said, "I've been here for the past 2-3 years, never asked for vacation, never asked for a day off, and now that it's an emergency, I can't do anything about it." So I threw my keys on the counter and never went back. After that, 2 GM, 4 district managers, 1 regional manager all got fired. Not because of me, though.
Tell me the
karma.
moment when you realized that your workplace was toxic AF.
One of the males came out to me, flopped his dick out and pissed on my foot. The same guy put his hands up my dress and scratched my leg. There's a girl who always takes my food out of the fridge. She never asks me, she just grabs it. They scream from one end of the building to the other. One of them always yells out, "Come wipe my ass." I mean, I'm a stay-at-home mum, but the conditions are pretty bad.
Tell me the moment when you realized that your workplace was toxic AF.
So I used to work for a really, really big tech company, not Apple, the other one. But we ain't gonna name it, just in case. So at this company, you basically get recognized for the amount of sales that you bring in.
Okay.
And so for the whole year, I was either top 5 or top 10 in sales. And at the end of the year, the manager comes and talks to you about kind of the compensation that they give you for your work and kind of acknowledging how great of a work you did. Well, at the end of my year, they gave me a 5-cent raise. So I was like, that seems very little. So I go around and ask all my coworkers, you know, you're not supposed to do this, but I do. I ask all my coworkers, I'm like, hey, like how much you get? And all the guys got $1+ raise, and I'm over here getting 5 cents. Are you fucking kidding me?
Tell me the moment when you realized that your
Again, I'm just gonna replay what she said. Once the noise, 1 second. Yeah, we're gonna replay what she said, because are you fucking kidding me? 5 cents, and the men, they're getting $1 plus. The bullshit. The never ending bullshit.
workplace was toxic.
So we were having our monthly department meeting.
She looked like a little
and
Tinkerbell.
There was 25 of us. Everybody
So
was
cute.
white except for me, and 4 of my bosses were in the meeting. So tell me why one of my bosses says the N-word twice.
Ooh.
I'm looking around the room. When I tell you no one's faces looked phased, it was like a normal Tuesday. So after the meeting, I decided to go to my other boss and tell her how uncomfortable I felt. She said that we should bring HR into it, and I agreed. So we finally have a meeting with HR, and the HR lady is gonna ask me, so what was the most uncomfortable for you? The fact that the N-word was said, or the fact that a white person said it? Baby, God is pulling out the tricks. I'm looking up at God like, not today. Bonus, people were telling me she was saying it a week prior, so she has a pattern of this.
Tell me the moment when you realized that your workplace was toxic AF.
I've been waiting for this for so
I
long.
see it in his eyes.
Story time. So I used to work retail for a place called Buckle, and yes, we're gonna go ahead and name drop because even if TikTok takes us down, I'm just gonna re-upload the shit. And for those of you who have never shopped at a Buckle, it is very cultish. Very cultish. They had this really weird hierarchy where, you know, whatever your position was, you were only allowed to hang out with that position outside of work because they didn't want this weird thing where, you know, teammates and managers were hanging out because that was a conflict of interest, right? So me being the only assistant manager, I was only allowed to hang out with myself after work. And the reason why I know that this rule came into fruition was because I got written up to corporate because I took a bunch of teammates out to Applebee's for some drinks because I was trying to do some fucking team bonding because it was right before Christmas. I got chewed out for 2 hours even though the manager was letting one of the teammates stay at his place so she didn't have to drive as far to get to work. And it gets worse. Check out part 2 in the comments. This is part 2. Just so you know. But yeah, on top of the bullshit hierarchy thing, they also had this obsession with sales, right? And the sales thing wasn't a big deal because I was probably the top salesperson like every other week. I was pretty good at selling some clothes, you know? Even the week that I was top sales, he would still bring me into his office and chew me out for not selling enough. Mind you, we worked at Golden Triangle Mall in Denton, Texas, which is a college town, so it wasn't just like people just had money to fucking blow everywhere. I also suggested doing some marketing. He said, no, this is Buckle. They know who we are. We don't need to market. Huh. Fucking dumbass. But there was a stretch for about 5 weeks where 4 out of the 5 weeks I was the top salesperson. I was killing it. And then I had one really bad week. My grandmother was just getting out of chemotherapy. I was having to cover my roommate's rent. Just a lot of stuff going on in my life. It just wasn't a good week for me. He brings me into his office to chew me out, and I was honest with him. I told him everything that was going on, told him I had financial issues. So he decides that the best course of action was to demote me not 1 step, but 2, and to decrease my pay. Yeah, I quit.
Okay.
Well then, first of all, loved his storytelling. His voice was so animated. That's why I was sitting there smiling. But damn, I told you everything I was going through and you still decided to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, this one's for my millennials. Tell me the moment when you realized that your workplace was toxic AF. Mine was when I asked my senior to come eat lunch with me, and he said he can't because he didn't want people to see him taking a lunch break. When you realized that your workplace was toxic.
So I'm not going to mention the company by name, but there were a few red flags. Like when the CEO got up in front of a bunch of us in the meeting and told us that even if a patient kicks, hits, spits, or cusses us out, that we should treat them with uncommon courtesy. Or was it the DO1 who used to stalk our social media? She called me about like 2 different posts that didn't mention the hospital at all. It was just about nurses having unsafe work conditions and intimidated me, told me that I needed to delete them. Was it the gag order the whole hospital had to sign? Oh, I think it was when the nurse manager had our charge nurses threaten to report us to the Board of Nursing for patient abandonment if we refused unsafe patient assignments or refused to work without PPE. No, I know what it was. It was when our nurse manager used to refuse to listen to our complaints about unsafe work conditions, and when I made an inevitable medication error, she tried to gaslight me, so I called her out in front of HR. And then she got pissed and tried to retaliate, so I wrote an 8-page grievance against her, which was conveniently reviewed by her best friend, who was the DON that used to Facebook stalk us.
Yo.
Again, I'm not mentioning any names. I'm just glad I got out of there.
Tell me the moment when you realized that your workplace was toxic AF.
A few years back, I worked at a furniture consignment store, and it was a nightmare. One time, the owner of the store took away the chairs for the cashiers because she thought we were sitting too much, and we had to crouch down on the floor in order to check out customers, and it was the most humiliating thing I think I ever experienced in my time in retail. There was also another time where she approved a schedule change for me and a coworker. When it was time for the shift change to happen, I showed up for my new shift hours, and she got really, really mad at me and actually fired me, saying that she never approved the shift hours, even though I had email proof that, she approved the shift hours. But then the next day, she realized that she done did fucked up, and she begged me to come back to work, and for some unknown reason to God, I did. And the last one I can fit into this time frame is a customer wrote a Google review about how they thought the owner of the business treated all of the employees like crap. For some reason, the owner of the business thought I wrote the Google review, even though I didn't write the review, and she told me not to come to work for like 4 whole days, and I didn't eat or sleep for 4 whole days because she wouldn't return my phone calls, and she took me off of all of the social media, and I was a social media marketer, and I didn't know what was happening. And when she finally did let me come into work, my desk was cleaned out, and all my pins were deleted, and I just had to sob in the break room for 3 hours waiting to be fired.
The fact that I got all that. Did you guys get all that? She was rapping to us. That's number one. Her mouth was moving just now. Super fast. Wait a minute. But I kept up. I hope you guys kept up too. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you for hanging out. Thanks for chilling it. Thanks for kicking it with me. Thanks for giving my video a chance. If you're new here, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate you, old or new. Yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys a lot. I hope you guys are having an amazing and beautiful, productive, lovely day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I don't think I said this in my videos for a while recently. I think I said it in the first one or the second, but if you have any video requests, anything you want me to watch, comment down below, or you can also DM me on Instagram. My social should have been up on the screen the whole time, and I will see you guys soon again. Bye.